April 30th, 1945. The war is in its final hours. Berlin is a smoldering battlefield. Soviet tanks thunder through the streets. Deep below the city, in a hidden bunker, we're told that Adolf Hitler, the world's most hunted man, takes his own life. That's the official story. A pistol shot, a cyanide capsule, a burning body, the end of the most hated dictator in history. But what if it never happened? What if Hitler didn't die in that bunker at all? From the very beginning, things didn't add up. The Soviets were the first to arrive at the scene. But instead of revealing Hitler's remains, they went silent. Then they changed their story, again and again. And when they finally did present a skull fragment years later, scientists ran a DNA test in 2009. The result? It belonged to a woman under 40. So whose skull was it, and why did the Soviets lie? Some believe it was part of a greater cover-up. Others think Stalin himself wasn't convinced Hitler was dead. In fact, just weeks after the war ended, Stalin told American officials that Hitler had escaped. He said it plainly, he is not dead. Why would Stalin, the brutal Soviet leader who crushed Berlin, deny credit for killing Hitler? Unless he had reason to believe the dictator had vanished. Inside the bunker, survivors gave conflicting accounts. One claimed to have seen Hitler's corpse. Another insisted he saw the Führer alive, even walking to a getaway vehicle. None of them ever presented real, verifiable evidence. Just memories, shadows, hearsay. And then there's the body, or rather, the lack of one. The Soviets claimed they found Hitler's corpse, burned beyond recognition. But no Western power, not the US, not the UK, was ever allowed to examine it. Even today, Russia refuses to release full forensic records. Then comes the twist. In the chaos of post-war Berlin, numerous bodies were burned. Soldiers, civilians, imposters. Could someone else have been used as a decoy while Hitler slipped away? Declassified FBI files from the 1940s and 50s tell a strange story. American agents were still tracking down Hitler sightings across the globe, especially in South America. This continued well into the 1960s. Men with mustaches, Germans with guards, remote villas tucked into the jungles of Argentina. Is it really so crazy? By 1945, the Nazis had escape routes in place. Submarines, forged papers, and the infamous Ratlines, secret trails through Italy and Spain, often aided by rogue clergy and ex-Nazi sympathizers. If high-ranking Nazis like Eichmann and Mengele made it to Argentina, why not Hitler? The fog of war, the perfect cover. An underground world of secret bunkers, loyalists, and safe houses. It all makes one terrifying idea suddenly plausible. Maybe we didn't close the book on Adolf Hitler in 1945. Maybe we just lost the trail. And all the while, the Soviets and the world pushed a narrative they wanted to be true. The monster was dead. The war was over. The good guys won. But what if the truth was more disturbing than anyone wanted to admit? What if Adolf Hitler didn't die in that bunker, but escaped? And if he did, where did he go? The war is lost. Berlin is in ruins. But thousands of Nazis don't disappear. They relocate. To where? South America. And not by accident, by design. They called it the Ratline, a real, documented underground escape network used to smuggle out some of the worst war criminals in modern history. And it worked. Adolf Eichmann, the architect of the Holocaust. Josef Mengele, the twisted angel of death. Both escaped. Both made it to Argentina. So why not Hitler? Let's follow the trail. After the war, chaos swept across Europe. Identification papers were forged, Vatican operatives looked the other way, and Catholic priests helped smuggle Nazis through ports like Genoa, Italy. Many boarded ships to South America, especially Argentina, where President Juan Perón opened the gates. He didn't just tolerate Nazis, he welcomed them. More than 5,000 Nazis and collaborators fled to Argentina under his regime. Some were scientists, engineers, SS officers. Some slipped in quietly. Others lived openly under new names. But here's where it gets darker. Two German U-boats, U-530 and U-977, mysteriously surfaced off the coast of Mar del Plata in July and August 1945, months after Germany surrendered. No one could explain where they'd been. No explanation for the delay. The crews claimed they just got lost. But intelligence analysts at the time weren't convinced. Could they have delivered someone? Could they have dropped Hitler off in Argentina? The official records say no, but FBI documents tell a different story. Recently declassified files from the 1940s to 1960s include dozens of eyewitness reports claiming Hitler was seen in South America, often in the company of German-speaking men, sometimes guarded, always secretive. And it wasn't just vague sightings. One report from 1947 claims Hitler was living in a remote estate in Patagonia, surrounded by loyal SS bodyguards. Others place him in Bariloche, a quiet mountain town that looked more like Bavaria than Buenos Aires. Today, Bariloche is still filled with German architecture, traditions, and last names. Coincidence? Now fast forward to today. In 2023, Argentina's new president, Javier Milei, made a stunning statement. Argentina must confront its Nazi past. This country was a hideout. That's a fact. He even vowed to declassify secret state archives, hinting that what's been buried for 80 years might soon come to light. Think about that. The sitting president of Argentina openly admitting that his country sheltered war criminals. And maybe more. So we have secret escape routes, Ratlines, U-boats arriving mysteriously in Argentina, thousands of Nazis confirmed to have lived there, villages and mansions where Nazis flourished undisturbed, modern political leaders acknowledging the truth, and decades of U.S. intelligence reports chasing Hitler's ghost across the Andes. Still sound like a wild conspiracy? Maybe not, because once you connect the dots, the map leads in one direction, straight to South America, to a place where shadows gathered, where a defeated empire may have planted new roots. And if Hitler did make it out alive, what happened next? What kind of life did he live in hiding? Was he alone, or still commanding something in the dark? The answers may lie just beyond the tree line, hidden in the forests of Argentina, where history might still be breathing. The war was over, or so the world believed. The bunker in Berlin had burned, bodies had been claimed, a mustached corpse was shown, quickly then vanished into Soviet hands. But rumors didn't die. In fact, they grew louder. And somewhere far from the ruins of Germany, a new legend was just beginning. Locals in Argentina's remote Patagonia region began whispering about a mysterious man, a German, fiercely guarded. They called him El Alemán Grande. He kept to himself, rarely spoke. But to those who saw him, one thing was clear. He looked exactly like Adolf Hitler. Could it have been a look-alike? A post-war delusion, or had the world's most hated man escaped justice and slipped into obscurity under a new name? Adolf Hitler, a supposed German immigrant living near Bariloche, a town already crawling with Nazi war criminals. According to declassified FBI files, Hitler wasn't just any settler. His background was murky, his papers suspicious, and his mannerisms unmistakably familiar. More than a dozen reports from locals described an older man living on a secluded estate, guarded day and night. He had a limp, a distinctive speaking cadence, and kept portraits of the Third Reich hidden in his home. Eyewitnesses claimed his servants called him Mein Führer behind closed doors. And then, the photographs. In the 1950s, a set of grainy black and white photos emerged, showing an aging man in his 60s. He had the same sloped nose, square jawline, and deep-set eyes as Hitler. A close analysis of the ear, an identifier used by intelligence agencies, showed an almost perfect match. His name, unknown. His origin, possibly German. His location, a private ranch in Argentina. Skeptics dismissed these as coincidence. But then came the book that turned the conspiracy into a global firestorm. Grey Wolf, The Escape of Adolf Hitler, written by British investigators Gerard Williams and Simon Dunstan, was based on years of research, leaked Argentine intelligence files, and first-hand interviews with those who claimed to have met Hitler face-to-face, long after 1945. According to their findings, Hitler did not just escape, he thrived. He was protected by loyalists, moved between secret compounds, allegedly fathered children, and lived until 1962 or 1963, when he finally died. Not in war, but in peace, in a place that wanted him hidden. His grave, lost to time, or intentionally erased. For decades, Argentina denied these stories. The Nazi past was shameful, inconvenient, better buried. Javier Milei has vowed to declassify state archives related to Nazi immigration and war criminals. What secrets lie within those dusty files? Will they confirm what's been whispered for generations? That Hitler didn't die in Berlin, but in the shadows of the Andes? If it's true, then the world's most important death certificate is a lie. Maybe the Allies didn't win the war as decisively as they thought. Maybe justice was never served. And biggest lie of the 20th century wasn't that Hitler died, it's that he was never even caught.